Silence means consent. Why did Muhammad use this expression, and how is it applicable to our present era?
This chapter is short, but very relevant to our present days, as I shall explain. Silence means consent is a very famous saying of Muhammad, which is pregnant with enormous implications. Sahih al-Bukhari Hadith 9.101, narrated by Aisha. Allah's Apostle said, "It is essential to have the consent of a virgin for marriage." I said, "A virgin feels shy." The Prophet said, "Her silence means her consent." She added, "Some people said, if a man falls in love with an orphan slave girl or a virgin and she refuses him, and then he makes a trick by bringing two false witnesses to testify that he has married her, and then she attains the age of puberty and agrees to marry him, and the judge accepts the false witness, and the husband knows that the witnesses were false ones, he may consummate his marriage." Not much comment is required about such depraved morality and logic. Most important of all is the implication that if the female refused to agree, then she should not be forced. Sahih al-Bukhari 9.79, narrated by Aisha. I asked the Prophet, "O Allah's Apostle, should the women be asked for their consent to their marriage?" He said, "Yes." I said, "A virgin, if asked, feels shy and keeps quiet." He said, "Her silence means her consent." Al-Muwatta Hadith 28.4. Asking consent of virgins and women previously married for their persons, Malik related to me from Abdullah ibn al-Fadl, from Nafi bin Jubair ibn Mutim, from Abdullah ibn Abbas, that the Messenger of Allah, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, said, "A woman who has been previously married is more entitled to her person than her guardian, and the virgin must be asked for her consent for herself, and her consent is her silence." There are two very important corollaries to the above statements. A, that a virgin can refuse by not being silent, and hence should not be forced into marriage. As usual with Muhammadan Islam, regarding most aspects concerning the women of Islam, the males deliberately either ignore or pervert the clear instructions of both the Quran or the Ahadith. Invariably, the Muslim women are forced into arranged marriages at the earliest possible age, usually to much older men and totally against their will. Male Muhammadan Muslims are indecently obsessed with the virginity of their females, as if their honor and the honor of their families reside in the unbroken hymen of their women. That is why any infraction by a female that is deemed in any way, shape or form dishonorable, they butcher that female as if she were a mere chicken. For example, if a female fell in love with a Christian or a Buddhist or a Hindu, she is automatically soiled, since a Muslim woman can only marry a Muslim man and no other. This contrasts with the fact that a Muslim man can marry a Christian or a Jewish woman. Another simple example, especially in Western societies, if a woman was very friendly with non-Muslim men or with very modern females, this too can be grounds for dishonorable conduct requiring the death penalty. Of course, none of these rules are applied to the Muslim men. B. Now we address the second aspect of the corollaries, that of the silence of the majority of the followers of Muhammad vis-à-vis acts of terror, incitement to hatred, etc. by a minority among them also means that they consent to these acts. It stands to reason that had they found these acts unacceptable, they should have otherwise objected vehemently by demonstrating in the streets, especially in the free democracies that they assert they believe in. As we have seen repeatedly on television, they do not hesitate to conduct mass and very threatening, aggressive and vocal demonstrations whenever they perceive an insult to Islam. But not once have they done the same against acts of terror conducted in the name of Allah and Islam. They thus demonstrate an obscene degree of hypocrisy and a depraved indifference to morality or justice. Their deafening silence means their consent, exactly as Muhammad asserted.